Hello, we are Burn a Flick. I'm sitting with Eugene, Zach, and our guest Thomas and Rami. I'm Jonah. We watched the movie Cape Fear, and it was something.
We definitely did watch Cape Fear. I watched the hell out of it. So I gotta ask, why do you keep doing this to us? Why Cape Fear?
If I'm assuming you're saying that in a negative way.
A little bit, but also like it's not. I'm not as negative about it as my first comment may have sounded off. But I also have like this is not easy to watch. It's not easy to watch.
It's definitely dated.
It's not easy to watch because I can't see Martin Scorcese telling Robert De Niro to do these things and talk like this and act like this. You know?
This was the first movie I've seen Robert De Niro in where he didn't have an Italian accent of some sort, so that freaked me out.
That's true because last night I was watching Awakenings.
What's that?
It's a movie from 1990 actually.
Something like that.
With Robin Williams and Robert De Niro. Robert Williams he's a doctor working in a ward filled with people who suffer from catatonia. They're catatonic patients.
Oh, okay.
And he's based on actual events too, and he's just trying to help Robert De Niro and everyone else by using this new drug. This what do you call it?
Is this like a drama or like a?
Yeah, it's a drama.
Okay.
There's no comedy about it actually. There's some comic relief sort of, but
Does he also have a southern accent in that movie?
no. He more sounds like
This, I couldn't decide if I thought the southern accent was good or bad. I guess that's how good of an actor Robert De Niro is, even when the material is god awful. Like somehow he makes it good. I don't know. I don't even know if he's good or bad in this.
So this is like one of the earlier. I don't want to say earlier because Robert De Niro's been acting since like the 60s. But this is like midway through his career when he wasn't typecast as like the Italian, mobster type guy. So I mean, being the oldest one here and growing up in the 90s, this was a very atypical 90s movie. Like,
all right,
watching the intros, even just watching the trailer for Cape Fear, I was like, "Oh my god!"
I wonder what the trailer's
nostalgia. The trailer is awful. 1990s, early 1990s trailers are awful.
Oh man,
like you've got to watch the trailer. It's awful.
You just know that Scorsese wasn't part of the planning there, huh?
Yeah, no, like trailers are god awful.
When did Robert De Niro start to get that persona of like the Italian gangster guy?
I mean, what? Godfather, Goodfellas, The Untouchables, where he played Al Capone.
Who's probably Untouchables. That's the beginning of that persona in my like you're saying. Of course, in The Godfather, but it wasn't really, like that.
Those weren't really '90s movies though.
No,
even
Untouchables.
Untouchables was the '80s, wasn't it?
'80s.
I don't know.
Because like he definitely made him a name for himself like before the 90s.
Well,
so like by the time this movie came out, like Robert De Niro is a well-known guy.
Well, at this point he already had 2 Oscars at this point. Because he
really?
Yeah, he had gotten it for Raging Bull.
Oh yeah, Raging
in the 1980s.
Yeah.
In the early 80s, and then
also Scorsese.
And then late 80s, or just the 80s for Godfather Part 2.
Oh,
so he had already been a 2-time Academy Award winner. So I think he's just maybe, hey, I want to try something new. And at that point, it probably just, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
He's just so weird in this movie.
I think it was definitely different, but I don't think it was all all that bad. He got completely jacked to play this role.
Yeah, he
I
did get
think he
shredded.
got
That was actually just how he was in the 90s.
Oh, really?
Really?
Like, look at some of his other work from the 90s, and that's what Robert De Niro looked like.
Robert De Niro's face has been the same since the 1980s because he's always been, in my opinion, old looking. So considering like imagine you look at him now, he's like 80 something years old, I think, or late 70s.
I don't know.
But imagine him now, but then take his shirt off and he's still like shredded or something.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say, like, the way that they approach his tattoos in this movie, like, you kind of get the feeling like that in the '90s, tattoos were like rare.
Oh,
and
it was. Yeah. Like, tattoos were, for the quote unquote untouchables, the prisoners and the
ne'er do wells.
the ne'er do wells, and it was like I remember when I talked to my mom about getting my first tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Even not growing up strictly in a religious home, it was like, why would you do that to your body? And then I didn't get a tattoo until I joined the Navy, and then I got Navy-related tattoos. So it was like tattoos at the time were faux pas, if you will, and
you could definitely
kinda
feel that in
niche.
the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the guy said, I don't know whether I should look at him or read the tattoos or read his body.
Yeah, they said that line, and I'm like, what year is it?
Yeah, 1991. Interestingly enough, Robert De Niro was also in Backdraft this same year.
Really?
Yeah, Backdraft was released right before Cape Fear, and just my opinion of 1990. Robert De Niro, Backdraft would have been much better movie to watch.
I've never heard of Backdraft.
It's about a arsonist who
okay.
uses backdrafts to basically force you to start a fire in your place. So like
does he just kill people?
Yeah, he was just an arsonist that wanted to kill people. But I think
Kurt Russell was in
Robert
that.
De Niro was the Kurt Russell was in it. I think Robert De Niro was the detective. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I watched Backdraft, but I had never seen Cape Fear, so I was like, all right, I'm down for seeing another Robert De Niro. But they did some stuff that was just like very 1990s, like when he got out of prison and he's walking towards the camera.
Yeah.
Did you notice like he kind of walked into the camera?
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm like, this dude really hit his head on the
like,
camera.
Yeah, the chin, like his chin went into the camera. Like that is such a 90s like filming thing.
Yeah.
It happened a lot.
There's like these weird angles that they do.
Yeah.
Do you guys definitely remember like the negative color scenes?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't understand why
okay.
like what the fuck is up with that?
So that was again another 90s thing.
Okay.
And like for the part where what is his name? Sam Bowden, Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
Is making love to his wife.
Yeah.
That negative like transition was how they did in the 90s to like show that, both parties have had their peace without showing that both parties have, had sex, because it was still kind of faux pas to show that kind of stuff in the 90s even.
So like show like an intense moment or like something like happen or a climax or anything like that.
Yeah, they wouldn't show that kind of stuff. Like I think the first movie I saw as a kid growing up with a nudity scene in it was Starship Troopers. And that was like late 90s, I think.
That was a scene between what's his name, the main character,
In the shower. I'm talking about like the shower
just people
scene.
walking. Yeah.
For me, it was Under Siege with Steven Seagal.
Oh, Steven Seagal.
with
That's
the
one of my wife's
stripper in
favorite
the cake.
movies.
Or is it the
Stripper in the
Yeah,
Cake.
it's a
Yeah.
cake.
Yeah.
Stripper in the Cake. That's one of my wife's favorite movies.
It's funny to say it's mentioning Steven Seagal because he's just struggling to stay relevant. So,
Yeah.
It's really sad to watch him like, oh god.
just
I'm
burn
a sheriff
alive.
now.
There's a recent movie that came out. And when I say recent, I mean like the last like 5 years. He plays like this SWAT like captain or whatever, and he's holding the rifle, and the buttstock is like resting on his shoulder, and like he's going around like that.
Yeah,
and
I saw that,
It looks so bad.
I
So,
think-
talking about like Sam Bowden's character, or Nick Nolte,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, when I was watching it, I was like, "Who is this guy? I know this guy. Who is this guy?" Right? Because like I've seen him in the Hulk and in all sorts of new roles, and I'm like, I can't place him. And then there was a part where he got mad and he was like, "Shit." And I was like, "Oh, it's Nick Nolte."
Yes.
Right? Because like I could hear it in his voice, and I was like, "Oh, that's him."
the horse
Yeah.
sounding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just pretty much think of him like from what's that movie called with
Which one?
with Tom
The Warrior.
Warrior
Yeah.
just him the entire time. It's like the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, he's in The Mandalorian, even.
Yeah, actually.
Wait, he was in Mandalorian?
I've spoken.
I have spoken. Yeah, that's what it was. I said, "This is the way." It's I have spoken. The little troll dude on the planet.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that's Nick Nolte.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's just his face with some
I guess I
alien looking.
I
Yeah,
had no
that's
idea.
100% Nick Nolte.
I had no fucking clue.
That's what he looks
Okay.
like nowadays.
He's 81.
Time hasn't been nice to him.
It's funny. This movie was Cape Fear was 31 years ago. He was 50 years old in this movie.
Oh, really?
Nick
Yeah,
Nolte?
Okay, yeah.
Nick Nolte, yeah.
Holy smokes.
And Robert De Niro was. Oh, you know what? Actually, then Robert De Niro was in his 40s, so that must mean that he's actually in his 70s right now. Never mind.
Should we? Let's discuss the premise.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
do that.
So, this movie is about main character is Nick Nolte, and there's like another main character, which is like the villain or rival slash character, antagonist, and that's played by Robert De Niro. Nick Nolte is a defense lawyer.
Was
a defense lawyer. I don't know what he is now.
He's still a lawyer.
He's
He's
just-
just like private practice.
All right, yeah. And 14 years ago, he quote unquote defended Robert De Niro's character, Robert De Niro's character was charged with raping and beating a woman. Basically, Robert De Niro went to jail because the defense wasn't quote unquote good enough. And he learned to read in jail. By the way, Robert De Niro is like he's just a degenerate.
He's a Southern bumpkin.
And he can't read. He learns to read in prison, and then we later discover that he found out why, like, his defense wasn't good enough. Basically, Nick Nolte's character, Sam Bowden, purposely left out information because he didn't like.
Suppressed evidence.
Yeah, suppressed evidence.
He knew if he showed that evidence that he would have gotten him out.
a lesser sentence, or
lesser sentence or out.
Yeah,
And he was like, "I know that he's done these bad things because he's confessed them to me. He needs to be in prison."
yeah, which is its own bag of worms. But yeah, and the whole movie is Robert De Niro getting revenge
Yeah.
and psychologically torturing his family. And
Amazingly, I might add.
Yeah.
Yes.
so I don't know, like, so they said in the movie multiple times, like, he's not actually breaking any laws. You can't do anything to, like, is that true? I don't know enough about laws and shit to, like, how true is that? Like, can you actually get away with the shit that he was doing?
Well,
Maybe.
which stuff specifically?
Maybe it's just
Like
Southern.
the sitting on the wall?
Yeah.
I mean, where's the proof that he was sitting on the wall? My word against yours? No, I was at the bar downtown drinking.
Yeah, or where's the proof that he poisoned their dog and killed him?
Yeah, and
Did they ever explain that?
he gave the collar to
Yeah, saying I found
the
it.
wife, saying I found it, and then she put it together like you're this dude.
To Jessica Lange.
He's
Jessica Lange?
Yeah.
Jessica Lange.
Yeah.
He's been like going in and out of the house like the whole time.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
because did you not catch on to the piano wire?
The piano wire
The
was missing.
piano
Or
wire?
Oh
He
yeah.
was like playing the piano, and he's like, "How long has this wire been missing?" Right?
Okay,
Like, as soon as they did that, I was like, "Oh, he's totally gonna fucking
Wait,
garrote somebody."
Yeah,
with,
I was like Robert De Niro has this wire.
and he's gonna
Mhm.
garrote someone.
And
Yeah.
He's gonna.
It's in his inventory.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I oversaw that, realizing like he had the piano wire when he choked out the nanny, right?
No, it was
It was the cop.
He
cop.
did it to both.
he,
to both,
he did
yeah.
it. Do it.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did
Yeah.
it to the nanny, but the cop is the one we saw.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
true. And I didn't realize that that's the missing wire.
Yeah, but how is he getting into the house? That's what I don't understand.
I mean,
Plot.
most houses you can easily get
Oh,
into
he's
if you
just
have
sneaky.
any
Yeah.
level of
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah, security is actually just based on trust.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like nowadays, it's a lot harder because you got ring cameras and it's
Simply
like,
Safe, our
yeah,
sponsor.
exactly.
Back,
Just kidding.
back in the 90s, I feel like no one locked their
Please
doors.
sponsor us. No.
So,
Yeah, especially if you're living like
I was just about to tell you, like I grew up in the 90s where I would come home for lunch in middle school, right? And my front door was unlocked and there was no one home, right? And it wasn't until like way later in life that I was like, oh, I should probably start locking my door because it just wasn't something I did growing up. So, I mean, I was a latchkey kid. Both my parents worked, so when school was out, I walked home and I went home and I took care of myself, right? So it's kind of like understandable that somebody could just walk up to
it's
the house and
believable.
get in,
Yeah.
you know?
I suppose so.
Especially when they're all doing their own thing. I say like one scene that just actually made me really uncomfortable.
I could
Just,
name
like,
two right off
Well,
the bat.
my number one was the whole high school
Yeah.
scene
oh yeah,
where
yeah.
Juliette Lewis, sucks
God.
on his finger twice.
Twice.
Yeah. And then you're like, what are they trying to do? He's trying to get her to go against her parents but that never even, there was a build up. Wasn't even a build up. I don't even know what to say there. It was just really cringy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that just shows how a sociopath can manipulate any situation in their favor. Because, I mean, there are sociopaths out there like that can get, I mean, we see it all the time on like, To Catch the Predator and stuff where they got they're getting, 14-year-old, 15-year-old boys and girls to do this stuff.
We're talking about you, Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
I thought
Watch
it
out,
was.
we don't want
I
to
thought
get
it was
hit with a
overboard.
defamation.
I definitely thought it was overboard because
It was.
like they were trying to show that he was trying to groom their teenage daughter.
yes. Yeah.
I just think there are other ways to groom to depict that. Like you don't have to. It's just it makes my fucking skin crawl.
Yeah, I don't want to see it.
But again, it's the 90s and
Yeah, and
they weren't so PG back then, and so
they were PG about some
Sure.
things, but not other things.
right, and they weren't so
I still
politically correct
Yeah.
PC
Yeah.
about
seeing a 17-year-old Juliette Lewis and a 40-plus-year-old Robert De Niro and him just making out with her. She was, or I think, film when they started 17, but because I did the math. And I'm like, that's just weird.
Yeah, I bet you did do the math.
Hey. I just wanted to, I like I like knowing these things. I don't know.
and the other scene for me that was really cringy
Yeah.
was after she did that and Dad was like,
Oh.
why did you talk to her? Why did you talk to him? What are
Yeah.
you doing? Get that smile off your face. And she kept smiling like she was like enjoying it.
She had a secret.
And then and then he like manhandled the hell out of his daughter. I was like, holy smokes! Like, and now to be completely honest, I had my fair share of ass beatings in the 90s, but like I was thinking like I would never do that to Tarek or Aurora. I would like, holy smokes!
Especially when somebody's downright probably traumatized already as it is from everything that's happened,
Yeah.
Yeah, he went like, I think it was definitely like super overboard, but I mean, you can tell his emotions were playing into it because he was definitely freaked out.
Oh yeah.
As anybody would be.
he acted the hell out of this role. I thought Nick Nolte was really, really good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I just didn't enjoy Robert De Niro's character as much. I couldn't decide whether he was good or bad. Robert De Niro. It's really weird.
As an actor,
Yeah, I'm
he
like, is
acted
this-
amazingly.
I probably
Yeah.
I should have prefaced before watching the movie that he does have he does play a different character
Yeah.
than he usually does.
No,
because-
I liked being surprised. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, we're talking about him being a good actor. One scene where it's gratuitous is at the end. We'll get to that, I guess. But I like the part where he is in the car and he's talking to Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
And Nick Nolte's trying to give him money to leave him alone,
Yeah.
and then he's telling him like, "I've been in for prison for 14 years, and you're offering me maybe let's say $50,000."
Yeah, he does that math.
And then you're looking at maybe $11 a day.
Less than that,
Mhm.
which is less than
Minimum wage, and like you think that 14 years of my life versus $50,000 when I already have this much money. And he says the word, "Do I look destitute to you?
Yeah,
Do I look
driving
like
a
I
brand
don't-
new car.
Yeah.
Do you think I lack like the basic necessities of life?" No.
That's what I was trying to figure out was where his money was coming from too. I was like, how is this
Yeah.
dude in prison that long and he's out driving a brand new Mustang?
That's always a weird trope in movies where the guy gets out of prison and he's automatically, he's doing fine. He has a hotel. Like,
yeah.
sure, they make
Guy in
money.
town.
And
Yeah.
Like, what if somebody has if you go to prison for 14 years and you literally have nobody, how do you live? Like, what happens after
his
that?
mom died.
Well, no, I know, but just
Oh,
in
but
reality.
in real life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
there's a halfway house thing that could,
Yeah.
yeah.
there's
There are
programs and
yeah.
things like that to rehabilitate you afterwards, but
Yeah.
you also do make money in prison, like if you're in like a chain gang or whatever, and most inmates use it towards their commissary for
True, because free labor is actually illegal.
right.
Well,
Unless you're in the military.
yeah.
Or Leavenworth will have you making rocks into little rocks.
You know what? That sounds a lot better than a lot of the tedious things we do around here.
100%.
You're saying all you gotta do is break a rock and small rocks. It's amazing.
Do this all day. Yeah.
I did that underway. We would break apart spent candles. I would,
Oh, yeah, we
that's-
did.
We
that's-
don't got to talk about this. We're bringing up bad stuff.
Sorry. And last thing, I guess we'll go like the gratuitous acting from Robert De Niro was when he completely lost his mind and he's
in
burned,
the boat, that whole boat sequence.
and then he's pretending having a faux trial, and he keeps looking
yeah.
back
Like
to
there's a judge there.
Yeah,
as if
yeah.
he's maybe talking to God himself.
Yes. So
Right?
I think so. Apparently, he found some type of religion in prison because even when he was sinking on the platform he was chained to, he was like speaking in tongue. I don't
Yeah,
know if y'all caught on to that.
yeah. My subtitles told me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
speaking in tongues.
yeah. I watched it and I could hear it and I was like, okay, yeah, that's definitely like. If you've ever been to a church that does that, you're like, oh yeah, I know what the hell that is.
Yeah, I remember him. He did say at one point in the movie that his grandfather was like a pastor that like held snakes and stuff like that. One of the crazy
that's
like
definitely
Southern
Southern
Baptists with like that hold copperheads when they're preaching to the church. And
I did not
everything.
catch that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and all of his tattoos were Bible verses for the
They
most
were, yeah. Some of them were like not relevant to his revenge story. Like one of them was like, "My time is at hand," and like I guess out of context, it's like, "Oh, like your time is up." Like it's your day of judgment. But like that quote, "My time is at hand." Jesus said that when he was about to get arrested, saying
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is the part where I die." Like
Yeah.
that has
There's a lot of biblical reference, like
out of
I mean,
context.
just the like with him looking up, like I've got to treat him as hostile, honor your honor and all that stuff.
Mm.
It's kind of like I mean, God is supposed to be the judge, right? So
Yeah.
it's like he's looking at the judge up in heaven to say, you need to help me judge this guy.
He doesn't even have his doctrine, and because like he says at some point, like he screams out like "I am God," or like doesn't
Right.
he say that at some point? I'm like, that doesn't.
I
What's
think
going on here?
The part where he says like, "I sentence you to the 8th gate of hell" or something.
Ninth
gate-
circle of
ninth
hell.
Ninth circle of
Yeah.
hell, and then then
Which is not a thing in Christianity, by the way.
I'm in Catholicism. It is right.
No,
I
that's
thought it
Dante's
was.
Inferno. That's completely
yeah,
Dante.
yeah, okay, yeah, you're right.
yeah.
I was getting my religious texts backwards.
Yeah.
If you consider Dante's Inferno.
So yeah,
There's
why?
so much lore.
Yeah. But like the part that made me think was when he's like, "Why are you doing this?" And he said, "Look in the Bible between Esther and Psalms." I was like, Esther and Psalms, Esther. Okay, let me sing the song. Oh, it's Job. Okay. What did Job do? Crap, I gotta Google it. I can't remember.
Job didn't do anything. He was just a regular dude.
He was just judged. He was just judged. Like, had everything taken away from him.
Yeah,
Maybe that tattoo was something he got before going to prison initially.
Nah, but he says he got the tattoos in prison.
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
All of
he
them?
desecrated his body in prison.
Oh, true.
There's only two things to do in prison: desecrate your body with ink and something else I can't remember. But
I'm sure you can remember. You get desecrated.
Learn to read. Yeah.
Like how you mentioned.
and learn to read. That's what he said, right?
I don't know. I'm just guessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying, like when it comes to like him gratuitously overacting, was just that whole scene, just that trial thing where he's like,
Yeah.
going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
He had resolved the entire time, right? But I guess that's where it comes, where everything builds up and just explodes on the screen like that, in front of everybody, where he's going berserk. the entire time.
Everybody was like putting on like super emotional acting airs during that entire sequence. Like the daughter like screamed and freaked out. The wife was crying. The wife, she does a lot of things with her hands to her face.
Yeah.
This is
Have you guys noticed that?
That's just
So-
Jessica Lange, right?
And
There was
like-
stuff. There was stuff that they did
Yeah.
then that if this movie was done now, it wouldn't have been done that way. Like when the daughter was trying to convince him, like, "No, I knew you'd come after me," and this and that.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I knew you'd come after me," and she was like, like apparently we know that you're,
Yeah.
acting and you're making this crap up so that I give you lesser punishment. But I feel like if the movie was done today, they would have been like, make him believe that,
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
absolutely. What-
And that was just, I feel like that was a lot of, again, 90s isms with the
Yeah.
hand acting and stuff. I was-
So much with the hands. Like
Yeah.
I was like, is she on something? Like, holy shit.
yeah,
She cannot keep her hands away from her face area,
right.
no matter what she's doing. That really bothered me. Every time I saw her on screen, I'm like, she's gonna do something with her hands.
Can I just add that I hated her the entire movie? Like from the beginning, I was like, this girl sucks. Like
Give her a break.
her dad's a lawyer and she's in summer school. Like,
Give her a break. She had just done Christmas Vacation.
yeah.
I liked the other female character in the movie, like the adult one, the clerk, the law clerk. I thought she had more of a personality than the wife.
Yeah.
Like, and it's really weird, like how they used her in the movie. Like, I don't really understand what her purpose was, because they weren't sleeping together, but they were flirty with each other. And when I say they, I mean this clerk character and Sam Bowden.
Bowden or Bowden? I don't know.
Bowden? Whatever. Sam. Yeah, no, they're flirty. They're playing like wiffle ball, not wiffle ball, squash, right? Yeah, they're playing squash. Like getting all sweaty and like giggly.
Well, I think this is the second girl that he's been like getting close to, because they moved previously because he was in another affair with like some other girl.
Yeah. And it bothers me that like when he gets into the argument with his wife, that like why is he so like defensive? Why can't he just admit that like
He was gaslighting.
yeah, he was gaslighting her exactly.
Because gaslighting, I don't know when that term originated, but the first time I heard it was like,
It's been blown up recently, but
Yeah.
no, it's been a thing since like the 60s or something, because the term originated from this movie called Gaslight. And I haven't seen the movie, but like it's like an old noir thriller type where
1944.
yeah, it's an old ass movie.
Wow.
It's an old ass movie. and the term originated from that movie, but it's gained traction in the last like 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, he's totally just like trying to play it off and like getting mad at her, and like he goes into technicalities like I didn't even fuck her, and like but like that's not
the point.
That's not a point. Yeah,
You're still
like,
you're
he's
still
not
a piece of shit.
getting it. Like, and that's another thing with like a lot of '90s movies. I realized there's not a lot of deep relationship dialogue. It's just very surface level. Like, I did it, I didn't do it. Like that's sort of arguing, and I don't know. Just that aspect of it. It also kind of took me out of the movie. Like, oh, this movie's dated.
Why do you think a lot of us from the 90s have such broken relationships? Come on. We get it from the movies.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that Tommy Lee Jones would have done a good job, or do you think he would have clashed with Robert De Niro?
Oh, Tommy Lee instead of Nick Nolte?
Yeah, because I'm thinking Nick Nolte, but Tommy Lee doesn't show that.
I
don't
think
see
that
it.
this is not a role for Tommy Lee.
Right? I was just in my head.
I think Tommy Lee would have been a great villain.
Max.
I think he would have been a great villain.
So in my brain, Tommy Lee Jones is typecast as like a detective or cop, right?
Okay.
And yes, I know he played the Joker, or
He played Two-Face.
Two-Face. Sorry, Two-Face. And
Well, that movie didn't do too well, so
well, I mean, there's that, but
he also played the terrorist in Under Siege.
he did,
which is my first Tommy Lee Jones role that I remember.
He did, but in my brain, like Tommy Lee Jones is,
The gentle granddad,
the marshal,
the wise,
right?
the wise.
Seen the marshal, right? U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, either U.S.
I
Marshals or what's No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, or what's the other one? The other or U.S. Marshals.
Oh, the one with Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. In the Valley of Ella.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Captain America: First Avenger.
Oh yeah, he was in that.
what? Double Jeopardy?
Tommy Lee's
Yeah.
in.
I thought
He
Double
was
Jeopardy
like the
good.
general or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but
But-
in my brain, he's typecast as that type of person, a cop or a authority figure of some sort. So
Yeah.
if anything, he would have made a better detective than this guy did.
Oh
one
yeah,
that was like-
no, that'd be
the one that was like, oh yeah, he's not doing nothing wrong, Shay.
That would have changed. I think that would have changed writing completely. Tommy Lee Jones was like, you ain't gonna kill me.
Yeah,
Absolutely not. I'll just come with you on the boat.
I didn't like that guy. He kind of gave off like a sleazeball vibe.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that was the whole point because I think he couldn't make it as a cop, and
Okay, yeah.
No, not the
private detective?
eye. I'm not talking about the private eye.
sheriff?
Oh,
I was talking about the sheriff that was like,
oh yeah,
that
the
was
one.
like, I can't tell you to do anything illegal now, Shay.
Yeah.
You know, I was like,
Yeah.
shut the hell up.
Well, I
dude.
think
Jesus, this guy fucking Colonel
Oh.
Sanders. Like,
who was the sheriff?
was.
Who played the sheriff?
it probably was Colonel Sanders.
I was thinking about the private eye guy.
The private eye, he was a sleazeball. I don't know if this movie was played today, I don't know who would play him.
He said,
Kevin James.
No,
He's like
it's
the
not
worst.
It's not a comedic role.
It might as well have been. That guy sucked. He was trailing Robert De Niro for one day, and then Robert De Niro buys him like breakfast the day after he gets assigned to follow him around.
Oh,
It's like, come on.
Oh man.
okay, speaking of Kevin James there, did you see that movie that he did? The serious, like, thriller movie that he did?
No, what?
movie.
Sorry. The name of the girl, I think it's not Mandy. I think it's Randy. I don't know. It was a movie where there's this girl, she, some young girl, but she, has a fiery attitude, and you can't, like Home Alone, kind of, right?
I didn't see that. No.
And Kevin James plays this dude with a group of friends who broke out of prison, and now they're going to this house to get something that he left there years before. And then, he's very serious, no comedy at all. He's just trying to be, like a bad guy. Obviously,
I can't see him being a serious.
No, it was
serious role whatsoever. He's Paul Blart.
Yes, always and forever.
Yeah.
And I guess where I'm getting with that, it's just I can't. When you say Kevin James, I can't imagine him in any other movie other than a movie where he's riding Adam Sandler's dick the entire time.
Yeah, right. Speaking of Adam Sandler, did you see his new movie?
I heard there's a
Which
new
one?
Adam Sandler movie.
Hustle.
I heard it's pretty good.
Hustle?
99%.
Yeah, it's great. I watched it the other day. So basically, he's like
dope.
he's like a talent scout for the Philadelphia 76ers. And the beginning of the movie, the 76ers are like, they send him everywhere. He's like been on the road for like 9 years, never been home for his daughter's birthday. And the owner of the 76ers dies, and his son, who's like a huge dick,
Yeah.
he gets into an argument with him, and then quits. But he'd been like recruiting this kid from Spain, and basically pays for this guy's like room and board, and takes all these chances on him and like his career, so he can go to the NBA, and he eventually does.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Is it streaming or is it out in
It's
theater?
on Netflix,
It's on
original.
Netflix.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Oh, I deleted Netflix.
Netflix it's hit or miss these days, of course. Understandable.
Well, I mean, Stranger Things, new season, Stranger Things.
Peaky
slaps.
Blinders.
Peaky Blinders new season, season 6.
I've never seen Peaky
I'm
Blinders.
stuck on season 4 still.
I've heard it was. I've always heard it was really good.
It's really
It
good.
is.
Season 4 is my favorite actually, with Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody's in Peaky Blinders.
He
Yeah.
plays the Italian, the New York mafia.
All right, he does look very
I
Italian.
watched like episode 1 of Peaky Blinders, and I was like, nah.
It's
Just like every other show, you gotta give it a chance. I started watching it on my last underway, that month-long thing, and Thomas, he always recommended it because he was talking about it, so I finally watched it.
I was the same way. I think I watched season 1, episode 1 5 times separately, and then was like, oh, I'm not going to start it. And then on deployment, I watched it. It was really
like,
good.
Yeah, it's like, what else am I going to do in deployment?
Yeah.
Tom, suffer through this.
Don't make it seem like that, please.
Tom Hardy's in there too.
Tom Hardy.
He's a regular.
he plays like the leader of like the Jewish mafia in what's the town over from Birmingham?
Wait, what? Where does Peaky Blinders take place?
Birmingham,
Yeah,
England.
Yes.
Northern Ireland.
Okay, not Alabama. Okay.
not Alabama.
The last season has a lot of like historical fiction in it.
Okay.
It's like the rise of like the fascist party and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, all right.
It's good build up. It really is. There's a lot going on. It's actually pretty cool because, never mind. We'll go back to what we're doing.
getting back
before.
to
Getting
Cape
back.
Oh yeah, the movie.
Cape Fear, the lieutenant that obviously everyone doesn't fuck with, and someone else could probably be in that role. That's Robert Mitchum. That's the original Max Keaty in the original Cape Fear.
Oh,
That was-
Wait, this was a remake.
This is a
Yeah.
remake.
Ah.
And then the lawyer that came in to represent Max, to basically shit all over Nick Nolte, that was Gregory Peck. That was the original Sam
Bowden.
Sam
Oh
Bowden.
wow.
Yeah.
I love it when they do that in movies. Like,
Huh.
in my opinion, it's really awesome. Like when they brought one of my favorite actors, Johnny Depp, back in 21 Jump Street.
I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
mention. I
okay.
knew you were gonna
Like,
say that.
I freaking love when they do that. When they're like, let me show
Yeah.
you this awesome actor. Like when they brought back oh man,
If you
why
didn't
can
say
I
it, I was
not
gonna
think
say
of
it.
his name? The original Hulk.
Eric Bana or Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, in
when they brought Lou Ferrigno into the Hulk movie, right? Not
the Hulk.
not today's Hulk, but the original Hulk movies when
Like before my time Hulk movies.
yes,
Okay.
they brought Lou Ferrigno, who was the original TV Hulk
Huh.
in to play like a security guard, and he distracted him by giving him a pizza.
in the Edward Norton one.
Yeah, and the Incredible
Oh.
Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I love it when they do that kind of stuff, like
Yeah.
bring in
Those little Easter eggs.
yeah
essentially.
people that have played the role before, and apparently things like that are lost on time because without you knowing that, I would have never known that.
The only reason I know that is because I think I was watching this movie with my grandpa once, and he's like, "Do you know who that is?" And of course, I'm like, "I don't know who that is, Grandpa. Who's that?"
How do you
that,
know?
See,
that's
one of these
Robert
days.
Mincham. He was back in whatever, like Gunsmoke.
Yeah, it's one of these days that'll be us. Oh, you see that? That's Stan Lee. And people are like, okay, Grandpa, I get it. Like,
This is after they bring Stanley back to life, right?
yeah.
That's not real Stanley. He's CGI now.
Disney's gonna do everything in their power to bring him back to life. No matter how many billions they have to spend.
Just gonna unfreeze him.
Yeah.
I don't know why Robert Meacham's name is so familiar to me.
It does sound familiar.
Was he in oh my god. Was he the actor in To Kill a Mockingbird?
I no idea. I have no clue.
Jeez,
I've never
I don't know.
seen To Kill a Mockingbird.
I've read it. Okay, I've seen it too. I just can't remember.
Signal at your house is awful.
Hey, what do you have?
AT&T.
That's your problem.
Oh, T-Mobile all the way.
Exactly.
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile
T-Mobile.
actually it pays
We
for
all-
my Netflix, so
We all
It's
have
also
T-Mobile.
a military discount.
also that.
Yes.
AT&T pays for my HBO Max, so.
Ah, fuck.
Mm.
That
And I'll raise
Tombstone. He was in the 1993
you.
Tombstone.
raise you an HBO Max.
He was the narrator, the voice throughout the 1993 Tombstone movie.
I'm surprised the narrator through that movie wasn't just Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
I know he played one of the Earps, but I feel like he could just narrate the whole movie.
Probably.
So I know we already talked about it, but the whole theater scene, even though, like, I think they went too far with the gratuitousness,
That's the other one.
I still think that dialogue is really good. Like, they're back and forth. You can see him work her. And, like, he has a different... Like, he looks complete... He dresses different. He has, like, a different haircut.
De Niro?
De Niro, yeah.
Yeah. He works all of them. Like, when he got Sam to attack him at the parade,
Yeah.
right? Everybody around him was like, dude, why are you attacking this
Yeah,
helpless man?
yeah.
And he started playing the victim, like, oh,
I'm just trying to watch the parade. I didn't do anything.
parade. What did you do that for? You know,
You have no
like,
right to attack a man. You know.
he just like so good.
Yeah.
You know,
But he never gets to the wife. Because, like, he tries to, like...
he did try,
Yeah, he tried, but he never... Like, the wife was resilient.
and he would have kept trying until he saw. If you remember, with the dog collar, he was sitting there and he was like trying to get to her, and he was working it. And then Danielle came outside, and he
Yeah.
saw her, and he was like, "Yep,
New target acquired.
new target." And he just like in his '60s Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
What else was I gonna say? Shit.
What other scenes can I?
I thought it was pretty interesting the butane fuel
Yeah.
burn him.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
lighting the cigar.
Yep.
Oh, he's slowly walking outside, like, trying to get out to jump in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That whole scene, that's a good 90s thing they do, is when he jumps in the water and he's like falling, oh, now he magically, there's a rope here, let me just grab onto that.
Mhm.
They're already moving. He's
Yeah.
moving along with it enough to grab onto the rope.
right. That's the part I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
it's done because now they're going to get away, and he's going to drown in this river that's going
Yeah.
out to the ocean.
I-
Okay, cool. And then he reaches up for the rope, and I was like,
Yeah.
what?
But
Like,
wait,
here we go
there's
again.
more.
Movies
yeah. But wait, there's more.
movies that have done that, actually, and it just ended like that, was like in Fear. The movie Fear,
Yeah.
where he jumps out, they throw him outside the window, right? And that's it.
Yeah.
The movie ends.
Yep.
There's no comeback where you think like this guy has literally killed everybody. He's maintained his resilience the entire time, and then boom, that's it. He dies.
Yeah.
Except for time and money. But that's what I thought was gonna happen. They got him. The daughter got saved everybody. That's a normal trope that happens in movies where they
Yep.
have the youngest one save them.
Yep.
Just like in Fear, actually. Yeah, and that's
Turns out it was a red herring.
yeah, exactly.
What'd you guys
Or
think? What'd you
Smoky
guys
Gun.
think of his actual death scene?
So that actual death
where
thing-
he kind of like his head kind of sticks out like an alligator, and it just stays there.
Yeah, so that whole scene, right? So after the rope thing,
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then they drowned him, and I was like, okay. While he's washing his hands,
Yeah.
he's gonna reach up and like pull him under because somehow he got free.
Right.
Right? So I was waiting for like the jump scare type scene, and then it didn't happen, and I was like, oh, this is the end. Okay. All right, this
we're
is the
good.
end of the movie.
So right before the end is one last final fuck you to Sam Bowden. he's trying to crush his head with the rock.
Oh yeah.
And then it just slips away.
Yeah.
the tide takes
The tide takes it. And he's,
I was hoping that wouldn't happen too. I didn't want him to kill him like that. I wanted him to just be dead and do one of those things where, that's build up and then he doesn't kill him.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted him to just obviously be dead, but I didn't want him to just smash his face in.
I
Yeah.
saw that and I was like, the father in me was like, yes, murder him. and because that's his wife and kid, and that's all I could think of was, I don't know what I would do if somebody tried to attack my family like that.
I think that was pretty on par for his character to go through wanting to kill him, because I mean, yeah, he just put him through all that traumatic stuff with his family, moving him out of the house,
Yeah.
killing his private detective and his maid, and
destroying his boat.
yeah, destroying his boat.
He even went, because he's a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think it ever talks about what kind of lawyer he is now,
I didn't
because
catch
he
that.
was a defense and he was like, I got out of that world because
Yeah.
there's no justice in it. And you kind of see him start to devolve as Robert De Niro's
Yeah.
character is progressively doing stuff to him.
Oh, yeah.
And finally he's like, you know what? Hire those 3 people.
Yeah, do the hospital job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And do the hospital job. And then oh my God. My
That was
wife
my
and I
favorite
were
scene.
watching it and we were like, what an idiot. You don't go to the scene of the crime that you had somebody commit.
Yeah.
Are you stupid?
What kind of lawyer are you?
What kind of lawyer
Just,
are you?
just like how they mentioned where he leaves the crime in the house and it says, you're a fugitive now for leaving. I know what I'm supposed to do. I get it. But I don't care. And then he mentions the whole other law of
My
defense.
God,
We're so it's open season, man. He comes for me, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Obviously, if any person is weird.
I think the scene where they try to beat Robert De Niro up with the pipe and the chain, that was my favorite scene in the movie, because I was like, this guy has been in jail for the last 14 years and you think you're going to beat him up.
This guy
With pipes and chains.
Yeah, with pipes and chains.
man-
And then
yeah.
the next day when he shows up in court, and he
Oh,
shows up and
yeah.
he has the arm brace on, his band-aids all over his face, and his lawyer when they went to court was hilarious. That guy actually did sound like Colonel Sanders.
That's
Yes.
Gregory
And the
Gregory
judge-
Peck.
Yeah, the judge was like, he's like, Mr. Bowden, we're gonna have a hearing on whether or not to get you disbarred, which is that was icing on the cake for the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before the family. I still think he would have gone crazy and probably tried to kill him if the
Justice
movie
is-
didn't take the other turn.
So when Sam met with Robert Downey Jr. in the restaurant and quote unquote threatened him, and then Robert Downey Jr. was like,
Robert De Niro.
God damn it.
I know, I did it
Put
to
it
you.
in my head.
I did it to you. I'm sorry.
Robert De Niro.
It was a seed planted.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro says, all right, can you say that one more time?
Yeah. That part I was like, oh. But actually, Letty goes, oh, this motherfucker's recording that shit. And I said, I don't know. Tape recorders were pretty big back then. And I was just thinking, I had a tape recorder. And I was like, okay, you could conceal that. But there's no getting around the sound a tape recorder makes when it starts recording.
Oh,
Because you got to click those buttons in.
Yeah.
And they're
Oh,
mechanical.
Unless he was recording the whole time.
Unless he was recording the whole time.
Okay, yeah. Saw him walk in the room, pressed it. Okay. But yeah, no, I just thought, dude, you're being so dumb. Clearly he's recording you.
Yeah.
And also, the sleazeball detective guy, he made a good point. Because, he told him, hey, I threatened him before. And, why would you do... Oh, wait, did he say that to the police chief? Or did he say that to the detective guy?
Ooh.
Because
He said it to the police chief.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he said it to the police chief.
And then the police chief was like, "Why? He basically said, "Why would you do that? That's stupid."
Yeah.
And he was, and what was his response? His response was like, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah, I don't remember what his response was, but
I feel like that's just another one of those instances where the movie dumbs down their characters to make the plot work.
yeah, because I feel like a lawyer, any lawyer worth his salt, especially one that was in a defense, industry,
Yeah.
would know I should avoid doing and saying these certain things. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna say and do all these things I shouldn't.
The script requires me to say these things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably just he's struggling right now at this point. He doesn't know what to do. He's not thinking clearly and just doing even in the summary of the movie it says to do things outside of the law to protect his family.
Yeah.
So I think he at that point he just didn't care. He just wanted this issue to be over with and wanted to do whatever it takes. I'm assuming, or maybe it's just terrible writing and that's probably what it was. But I don't want to. Because it's a Scorsese movie, and I don't want to say anything super
A
negative.
little bit
about
of
it.
column
I
A, a
think you
little bit
can.
of column B.
You can.
I think
But it feels though it's like
I think you
blasphemous.
need to hold him to a higher standard
Who?
Yeah.
because Scorsese.
He
Yeah, true.
this is the least enjoyable Scorsese movie I've ever seen.
Did he do The Family?
I don't know what that is.
It's another Robert De Niro movie. He's like a ex gangster, and then he's in witness protection.
Oh no, I've never seen it.
But yeah, it's like a comedy type sort of
Oh,
thing.
Hmm.
I can't remember if that's a Scorsese movie, but I know they reference Scorsese in that a lot. Meaning like in France, because they moved to France in this movie, and they love Martin Scorsese movies, and they
Yeah.
love that.
I decided to look it up because I didn't know when he started directing films.
Did he direct The Family?
No, I didn't look that up. Martin Scorsese started directing. His first directorial debut was in '67.
oh
It was
shit!
accepted into the film festival, Chicago Film Festival,
Hmm.
and then he was one of the most prominent and major figures in the '70s and '80s.
I know he won his he won the Oscar for Taxi Driver. Pretty sure.
No, who? Oh, Robert
Scorsese.
Scorsese, never mind. Yeah,
Yeah, Taxi Driver. Yeah.
sorry.
Um.
So actually, it was Luc Besson.
Oh,
He directed this. It didn't do too
didn't
well.
he do
Taken.
Oh,
Taken
I
1
was,
and 2.
Oh shit! I was gonna say something else. I was gonna say the Bruce Willis movie with the chick from Resident Evil, except she has red hair.
Oh, A
Is
Fifth
that-
Element.
Isn't that Luc Besson?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He also did Leon the Professional.
Leon, I've never seen that.
He did Lucy, that Valerian movie, which I didn't like.
I don't think anybody liked it.
Yeah.
Valerian. I didn't even watch it.
He
I heard
even
it was so bad I didn't even watch
Yeah.
it.
he even did Taxi, the movie that ruined Jimmy Fallon's movie career.
Oh
In
what?
1998. Yeah.
I mean, I think Jimmy Fallon ruined Jimmy Fallon's movie career.
Is that the one with Queen Latifah?
Mm-hmm.
She's a
Yeah.
taxi driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. What else do we have anything else to say for this movie?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's other stuff we could talk about.
There is. There is a lot more we can talk about if we want to dig really, really deep into it.
I'm trying to remember like other parts of the movie, like some.
Oh, I got
What?
one.
What?
The entire time, when they're driving down away from their home,
Yeah.
and then De Niro is underneath their truck, and he lashed himself.
I can't believe
Do you notice
that was a thing.
He
Yeah.
belted his hands
Yeah.
just so he can hold on for a longer time,
Mhm.
right?
No, he didn't belt
No,
his
he
hands.
belted his waist.
Belted his waist.
His waist. Sorry, my bad.
Or his upper body, I guess.
And he comes out from underneath the car and goes into the bathroom to,
Yeah.
clean himself up, dye his hair for some reason, which I don't understand.
He was doing that.
I don't
and
think he was dyeing his hair. I think it was just like
combing
nasty.
it.
I think he was just nasty and greasy and
That was just like the greaser look. You know?
Okay, yeah.
He had to put his pomade back in.
How to look more Italian. Let's do
So
it.
like he was doing that, I was thinking like, yo, your plan falls apart if Sam decides to take a piss. Like,
Yeah.
because like what if I don't know? I just thought that was funny.
Or like that chick that saw him come out emerge from the bottom of the car. Like, why did she just stare at him? Like, that is not what people did in the 90s. In the 90s, people were like, looking out their blinds and being like, I'm gonna call the police for every little thing that happens.
To be fair, that's today too.
Well, yeah, true.
concerned Karens.
Again, this
I haven't seen a neighborhood watch sign since.
That's a good point.
in forever.
Me neither.
Crime Stoppers thing.
Yeah,
you
like
see the guy,
well-
the dude in the hat and shirt or
Yeah.
the overcoat.
The overcoat,
That
yeah.
looks very
Oh
menacing.
yeah,
But-
yeah.
But Neighborhood Watch, I don't know if y'all are even familiar with that. It's,
No, actually.
like literally there was signs in the neighborhoods I grew up in. It said Neighborhood Watch, and like
Yeah.
it basically was telling you like, hey, people will report you for doing things.
Literally anything.
And there was like legit, like in the area I grew up, I'd go and pick freaking like berries off of somebody's tree, and they would call the police or call
Oh my god.
like whoever, you know.
Wasn't there a movie called Neighborhood Watch? Except it was like with a bunch of comedic
Yeah,
actors.
yes.
Oh, it's called The Watch.
It's the
The
watch,
Watch.
and
The
it's
Watch, yeah.
bad.
And
It
like
is
there's
awful.
aliens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn, Ben Stiller, I think Jonah Hill, and
Hill.
throw in some other
Oh
guy.
shit.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. I think it had JB Smoove in it too.
Let's be honest, any Ben Stiller film is pretty bad.
Oh come on.
there's a-
Zoolander's amazing.
Well,
I
no,
like-
yeah, Zoolander.
I like the
Zoolander.
Heartbreak Kid.
The Heartbreak Kid was a sleeper.
The Watch got a 16% on
Yeah,
Rotten
that
Tomatoes.
checks.
Or Tower Heist. Oh, that was terrible.
Tower Heist is terrible.
Another Ben Stiller movie, Heavyweights, when he runs
Old-
the fat camp.
Old Disney movie.
Yeah.
Can you believe that was a
hilarious.
Disney movie? Heavyweights.
What's
Oh, no.
what's the Wes Anderson movie with Ben Stiller in it?
That is the Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Oh, yeah, that actually is a pretty good movie.
But it's not really overcasted with Ben Stiller. He's not the main character. He's still
That's true. Yeah,
he's
It's
held up-
ensemble.
he's held up by what's her name? Gwyneth Paltrow, Owen Wilson. I'm not saying
Wilson.
Bill Murray also in there. What's his name?
I've
was
only
it-
seen the movie once. I don't exactly remember.
Was his Donald the guy from
Wait, isn't
Lethal Weapon? Was his name?
Mel Gibson.
No, the other one.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. There we go.
Danny Glover.
Danny,
Oh,
Danny
Danny.
Glover.
Danny? Yeah.
I was thinking Donald Sutherland.
Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
Yes, he's in the movie. Of course. And a bunch of great actors. Even Luke Wilson's in it. He doesn't do too bad.
Oh yeah, Luke Wilson.
Would y'all be surprised if I told y'all on Cape Fear on Rotten Tomatoes,
Yeah.
it has a 74% on the tomato meter, but its
Mm-hmm.
audience score is 77%.
That's pretty
this is the
close.
first- This is the first movie I've seen on Rotten Tomatoes that is that close. Because
Oh,
normally
that's
when I
not
look,
true.
it's
Yeah.
like the tomato meter is a lot lower than audience score. Like I looked
Yeah.
up a couple of movies just to test it.
That's typically true because, like, I mean, generally it makes sense because critics are people that see movies for their job,
Right.
So, like, eventually the joy of going to the theater, it doesn't like color your perception,
Right.
And like it just becomes a fucking job, so it's easier to be more critical.
It's not like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go review this movie because I like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to
I
review
have
this
to
movie
fucking
because
review this movie because it's my job.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
look, there's a issue here and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Yeah.
But no, I'd say there are a lot of movies that like they're pretty similar. Like nearly every Marvel movie, they're pretty close. I'd say
They have a big formula they follow though.
that is also true.
One of my favorite movies has a huge disparity. 33% on the tomato meter and 88%
what is it?
audience score.
Usually
What?
Um,
Venom, right?
It's called Bull Hall Junkies.
Oh,
Oh.
I know about that one.
I watched that movie because you recommended it. To me. You
recommended
gave
it
it to
to
me
you,
on my
yeah.
hard drive,
Yeah.
and I disagree with that. I think it's definitely better than 33%.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's-
agree.
yeah.
I don't know why it got such a horrible score because I love that movie.
There's the movie was made with so much care and love.
Yeah.
And you could tell that it's
Which-
a passion project. And it's not acted badly. It's acted really
Yeah.
well. And it's really 33%.
Yeah.
How many reviews? Is it just like I don't know, a couple dozen reviews? I can't-
33% had 43 reviews and audience score is 10,000
You know,
plus.
I bet those reviews are from that time.
Probably.
Yeah, cuz like
Probably
the movie's
Roger
not
and Ebert.
oh
It's
yeah,
not, it's
Eber
not
and
bad at
Roper.
all.
Ebert and Roper. That's
Yeah,
what
that
it
guy's
was, yeah.
dead.
Roper. No, Ebert's dead.
Ebert's
Yeah,
dead.
Ebert's
Yeah.
dead.
He's been dead.
He's been dead for a bit.
Yeah. All right, Cape Fear. I don't know what else to say about Cape Fear.
Go around the room.
Yeah. You want to start us off?
Sure. So obviously, like most of my movies that I've picked are dated for one reason or the other. The negative effect definitely is like starting off with like the negative effect, like the beginning of the movie, and they had like the sex scene, and then when he saw Robert De Niro standing in the room,
Oh yeah.
like it's just like really, really odd because it's almost like in the '90s they figured out how to do this effect, and it's like, oh, that looks really dope, and people are gonna love this, and it's gonna age so well. Yeah, that was definitely off-putting for me. Other than that, I thought Nick Nolte and Robert De Niro acted the hell out of these roles. Yeah, I think it was definitely different seeing Robert De Niro play this type of character. I think the ending scene when he was spouting off all that gibberish, I thought it reminded me of the little wild child from Wild Thornberries.
Donnie. Donnie.
I literally I heard that and I'm like, oh no, the guys are gonna let me hear about this or something.
Oh my god.
But no, I think overall I like the movie. I would give it a solid 7.
7, respectable. I agree with you that Nick Nolte, I loved the way he acted in this movie. I'm super on the fence about Robert De Niro because there's something about how he presents himself in this movie. It's kind of like that uncanny valley of like, is it overacting or is it really good acting? Like I don't really know where I sit in that spectrum in my perception of Robert De Niro. That said, I thought the camera work in this movie was super wonky, super dated. Yeah, a lot of stuff that happens plot wise. I mean, we discussed some of it, and like like most of it is fairly reasonable. But like at the moment, like I just couldn't believe some of the things that were happening. I'm like, it just didn't seem realistic. Like the scene where he straps himself to the bottom of the car. I'm like, what if they hit a speed bump? You're done. Like it's over.
Even a pothole.
Or a pot. Exactly. Yeah. And it's just it feels dated. As for the actual plot, the way that he breaks down the family psychologically, I thought it was really interesting. But a lot of the stuff that was bothering me about the movie, I think it kind of bogged me down in that experience. Yeah, and like I watched this last night. Like it is as fresh as it can be in my mind, but I still struggle to like remember parts of it, and I don't know. It doesn't feel like a movie that I will be revisiting anytime soon. For me, I gotta give it like a 5.5. For me, that's my score.
Respectable. I think anything we give is actually an honest opinion. I'm just go ahead and start and say that along with both Jonah and M's their responses to it, I didn't like the gratuitous acting. You know, I thought they still acted the hell out of it in those gratuitous scenes. Not that it was too much for me to handle. It's just that I think it was just too much. It was not necessary a lot of the times. A lot of underplay with some characters, and just overall uneasy in certain aspects. Not like I've seen movies that are so messed up, like Taboo. I mean, when it comes to like seeing it on screen, not like super messed up, like what the fuck's going on. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it myself, so I will give it myself a 6.5.
So the beginning when he was like reading books in the jail, I thought this was gonna go like a legal route where he's gonna like sue him for something, and it completely didn't. But then from the first scene when he talked to him in the car, I was like, oh, this guy's gonna make him hate his life. and then that was pretty much the movie. And then the negative scenes that reminded me instantly of like the cool flip phone filter in like 2008. And I don't know. It was weird. I didn't really like it that much. I'm gonna give it a 5.7.
5.7.
So, all right.
Here we go.
Strap ourselves in for this.
So I understand what you're saying about the uncanny valley with Robert De Niro, but I think that was a testament to how good of an actor Robert De Niro is, because he actually made you like hate him. Like think like Joffrey
Okay.
in Game of Thrones, right? Like that's how I felt. Like I just want to. I wish I was there so I can murder this dude for him, you know? And like when he was about to smash his face with a rock, I was like, yes, do it, you know? Because like I had that much hatred for him. And I think he did such a great job showing like a sociopath. Like that is, in my opinion, that is what a sociopath would do, you know? Kind of reminded me of Russell Crowe in his not most recent film, but the one, oh man, I cannot remember the name of it.
Oh, Unhinged.
Unhinged. It reminded me of Russell Crowe in Unhinged, where he just started chasing down the mom in her car and like doing all those things to her, right?
Just a huge prick.
Yeah, I hated Russell Crowe in that film, and normally I love Russell Crowe, so that's how I look at that. And growing up in the 90s, like, yeah, there was a lot of stuff in there. I was like the negative scenes and stuff, and I was like, oh, yep, I remember that, you know. And it's back then I was probably like, oh, that's cool, you know, but now I'm like, oh my God, why did I even watch this movie? Like, I don't know if, you know, one of my favorite movies growing up was Neverending Story.
I remember.
I was like, oh, Letty, I'm going to show you this movie. It's such a great movie. We started watching it, and I was like, I'm turning this shit off. Like, it just, like, destroyed my childhood by watching it as an adult, you know?
It's just a product of your childhood.
Yeah, exactly. So, I've got to give it a 6.
6. All right.
So that gives us an overall 61%.
61%. I'd say that's fair. That's pretty similar to the actual score on Rotten Tomatoes, is it not?
About 9%, 10% difference there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
It's not a huge disparity there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I will still always watch a movie. I'll watch any movie, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I will definitely watch a movie with a score over 50%, in my opinion.
I'll watch a movie if I don't know. Like I don't mind watching like god awful movies.
No, we talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
We're gonna revert back to Sharknado.
Velocipaster.
Velocipaster. I have not seen it.
There's a guy in our shop who mentioned Velocipaster? Lonnie mentioned this movie called Velocipaster.
I have not watched it yet.
And the tagline for this movie is he's a man of the cloth.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
claw with TH.
Yeah. I saw it, and at first I was like, all right, people are just making fun of Sharknado and making stupid posters. And then I looked it up, and I was like, holy crap, this is a real movie.
It's a real production that somebody signed off on.
My boyfriend is a T-Rex, that old movie with I forgot her name.
Who?
There's an old movie about this guy who dies, and and his girlfriend got the scientist to put his brain in an animatronic T-Rex. It's an old movie.
Okay.
Damn, I forgot what it's called. But yeah, it's kind of like stupid like that, you know.
All
It
right.
was also the 80s.
I think did Thomas have a movie for next week? Or if you don't, then I got one ready.
I just watched one that's pretty recent.
Okay.
And I think we should all watch it. I don't know if I know you've seen it, but it's called Fresh.
Fresh.
Yeah, it's
on Hulu.
Okay.
Watch it on Hulu.
Fresh. Gotcha.
I'm not going to tell you anything about it.
Good. I like it that way. Cool.
I have like three
Completely-
movie suggestions for y'all. I'll tell y'all about.
You should jump into the rotation. If you could
Yeah.
join us next week.
I mean,
possible.
Yeah.
I don't know because we're still in the process of selling the house, so I might not be available.
All right.
Stressing the hell out of myself. Maybe this will be good for me to come here and do this instead of stressing the hell out of myself.
Yeah.
And hopefully this place will be less of a mess, you know?
It's great to have you, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
We were talking about how insightful you were for the Green Knight, which was perfect. We needed that.
Yeah, no, like as soon as you showed up, like the conversation, it took on a different sphere.
Yeah.
And I think it elevated that podcast episode, definitely. Fresh is the movie. You can find it on
Hulu.
Hulu. Okay. I got Hulu. That works out. Cool. I guess that's it. See you guys next time.
Flick. 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 Burn. Burn. Burn a flick. Burn a flick. Burn a flick. Burn a flick. Flick.